Okay, so I'm going to show how you can convert from a table that's been scanned like this that doesn't have any horizontal lines to a table that has lines, so that you can see which rows are which, like this. Now this could be helpful later when we're scanning into either able to extract or a different OCR program that wants horizontal lines to be able to tell which rows are which, or if it's something like this where there isn't a lot of data, but it's kind of hard to tell which numbers go to which rows over here. And we're going to be manually entering those, so we might want a little bit of help there. So what I've done is the first step is to save this as an image. And for me on that computer, I have a Windows, so I'm just going to go over here to the snipping tool. There's a different one on a Mac. I believe it's like Alt something. You can look that up, but just do a new one. And then I like to take the whole page so that I have all of my references if I need to, if this isn't labeled properly and I need to go back and find which one it is. So I take that and I save it. I'm going to save this as testing straightening, or actually let's save it as add horizontal lines. Okay, great. So then what we'll do is we'll go to this Python notebook that I have here. It's on Google Folders. And right now I have it on dark mode just because that's my preference, but I'll put it on light mode because that might be a little bit easier to see in the video. So here I have all of my import statements. Those are pretty generic. And then I always print cell run complete if there's no output, so I can tell when the cell is done running. All right, so then we have the upload image on Google Colab. You have to do this anytime you want to upload a file. So we'll run that, and while it's running, click choose files. And what we want to upload is add horizontal lines. And it will scan in, and it says saving add horizontal lines.png to this variable over here, add horizontal lines.png. So I'll go ahead and copy that variable, and I'll put that there. And this reads this image into this sample data frame as a plot. And then this converts it from RGB to a grayscale. That may not be necessary for this, but I'd like to do it anyway. This makes the print that, or the size of the plot that it will print bigger, because otherwise it will print kind of small and hard to read. And then this prints the image. So we'll take a look and make sure that we got the right one. All right, and looks good. It looks like what we just took a screenshot of. So that's all good. It may look a little bit slanted here, and if it really is slanted, you can edit it either on here. I've got a photo editing program, the very basic one that comes with the computer, or you can even do it on your phone. I have Google Drive on my phone, so I could very easily go through my spreadsheets, take a screenshot of each one, and then on the iPhone photo editing app, I could go in and make them straight. However, on this one, I can use my cursor to scroll down and see Malaysia lines up pretty well. Let's scroll down again. Spain lines up fairly well. Uganda lines up pretty well. Venezuela lines up pretty well. So I'm not gonna bother straightening with this one. This is okay. Now what I'm going to do is calculate the number of rows. And when I talk about rows and columns, I'm talking about the pixels, because this is technically a plot of pixels. That's what an image is. And then this calculates the number of rows. So we'll do that. And there are 915 rows. So that kind of makes sense. You can see the tick marks over here. It's about 915. So now what we're going to do is we're going to plot a section of this that contains the rows that we want to delineate. So I'm going to go, let's do 300 to 400, because that will contain approximately Morocco to Nigeria. So we'll set the top as 300 and the bottom as 400. So what this will do is the Y points will arrange, this is going to be the Y axis, that will be the number of rows, will be the number of Y points. And and then we'll plot the row sums. Row sums is, it will take each row of these and it will add up the pixel values. So what will happen with here is that 1 is, I believe, pure white and 0 is pure black. So rows of pixels that have no ink on them, such as, you know, the rows here, will probably have very high values, whereas rows like maybe along these lines that are printed here will have lower values. So we'll go ahead and run that, and we get this chart over here. Okay, so I've labeled it ink per row of image. See, it goes from 300 to 400. So this is for, again, this section right here from about Morocco to Nigeria. And you can see for each line where there's white space, that's over here. And then where there's more ink or text, that will be these rows over here. And what we want to do is identify the edge where the white is, because that is where we would draw a line. You know, if you're going to draw a line manually using a ruler and a pencil, you would look for where there's white between each of these lines of text. So we're going to do the same thing digitally. So what we do here is we go over and we find the threshold of where the white is. We can say for this one, we'll try 1230. That looks like most of the peaks of the white go just past 1230. So we'll go to the threshold, we'll add 1230, and we'll run this. And if there are not enough lines, we'll decrease this number. And if there are too many lines, we'll increase this number. And this code all basically identifies where these gaps should be. And that looks pretty good. There's a gap between Turkey and Uganda and between Nigeria and Norway. And that's kind of fine if we're manually translating this, but if we're running it through an OCR engine that needs delineation between those two, let's see, it says if not enough lines, decrease. So that makes sense. Maybe we'll decrease that to 1225, and see if that works. Yep, that delineates all of them. And you can see these numbers are pretty well separated. If it was on too much of a slant, they might not be perfectly separated, but that's fine. I made these lines rainbow, and you can see that here I have a list of different colors it prints, and it goes through them using a mod. But if you wanted them all to be black, all you would have to do is change from color equals rainbow to color equals black, and it would print them out black, or you could print them, I don't know, transparently or whatever suits your purpose. So then from here on, I just save this image as whatever I want. I've actually already saved this image, so I don't have to. And then we've got a bunch of really easily readable tables.